And I am back
Uh,
here on day 4 of the LJL Spring Split, and I am joined by, as advertised, the mighty Middlecott and Oak. Gentlemen, it's good to see you again on the LJL stage. You might know, if you've heard of any of us, that we've been working together on several projects before, but LJL is the case today, and we've got a good one. Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS versus Burning Core for game 3.
Should be a bit of a spicy one. I think we'll start off with the Hawks because I think they're probably one of the more they're I don't want to say the more interesting team in this matchup, but there's more questions around them, right? This was meant to be the super team coming in. Kinatu, Blank, Dasher, Marble, Reiner. These are all very, very good players, and something just hasn't gelled. We've seen this in super teams before. Vitality with the 0-3 start this spring. DFM with the 0-3 start in summer. Yep. Both those teams look all right after those initial stumblings. DFM going unbeaten through the rest of that regular season. So I'll have to see if this is the super team curse, or maybe the Hawks are just bad.
I was going to say, I noticed a narrative that was being pushed. Do we get the 0-3 super team buff? That at the moment they're perhaps just struggling to figure out their identity, and once they do, they will actually start clambering their way up the rankings. I'm very interested, of course, to see if that is going to be the case. Oak, obviously we can talk about SoftBank HAWKS all day, but there is in fact a Burning Core present here as well. Currently 2-1, looking pretty decent, all things considered, for the first week or two.
Yeah, these players seem relatively in their comfort zone, which was, especially last season, Yuhi specifically was, I think, one of the struggle points for Burning Core. Looks all right now, and as Initialize said, we'll hold off on that too much. But generally,
we've been hurt too many times.
Pretty good performance. And that's coming specifically off play with Fujimoto, who's looked like a comfort kind of pick for this player in terms of just being able to lane properly, not too much bleeding. And then, especially with how well Flawless is playing, I think we obviously saw the Smite Janna top with the Ray Farkey Flawless swap, which we weren't a big fan of.
Let's not see that again.
Because we feel like Burning Core's top side is actually quite strong. So we really want to see them play through that if possible. So hopefully, especially with nerfs coming in this patch, I think we're still on 12.3. Maybe we might see it played again. Hopefully not. I'm relatively happy with Burning Core's performance so far. It's just SoftBanks, this is their real big game to turn around, right?
Yeah, if there's ever was a time for them to step up, it certainly is this. Going 0-4, while not a death sentence, is the point where we start to ask some real questions about the strength of this team. Middlecott, any particular picks that you're expecting? Draft should be just moments away.
Well, not expecting a Janna. I'm hoping to not see a Janna out from Burning Core. Their top side, like we were sort of alluding to, is incredibly strong, and I actually think that Graves is going to be quite contested. Kinatsu has played it, Ray Farkey has played it as well, obviously into the jungle. It is one of these strong sort of anti-split push champions that can also split push quite strongly itself. With the Hullbreaker build, with the Immortal Shield Bow, and you can get a Bloodthirster on top of there as well. It's basically impossible to dislodge a Graves from a side lane once he's got that core online. So I think if we're looking for key picks, probably going to be that.
Has Hullbreaker gone too far? Because I saw this, there was a tweet posted out that in the LCK, you know where this is going, I imagine. In the LCK, there was a game of Hullbreaker Jungle Rek'Sai. Why? Why? I have nothing more to say about that.
Well, I can answer that pretty easily. If you ever find an opportunity to slot yourself in lane, even for a brief period, this item becomes absurdly powerful, because not only is it super stat efficient in solo fights, just having that cannon minion, man, he just walks forward. He literally becomes Tryndamere with Undying Rage. He doesn't care. It's crazy. This item is incredibly strong, and we will be seeing it until it gets nerfed at this point. And none of these 5 movement speed nerfs. We're talking proper nerfs to this item, because now that people have found comfort in it as well, this item's here to stay. And this definitely actually benefits Ray Farkey, because from the games he's played so far, we had a Jax game. Obviously, we had the jungle swap, but we also had a Darius game. He is somebody who's really has a lot of intention to bully out and play lane as aggressively as possible. This comes through with their draft, and especially from their playstyle in their first 2 games. I'm hoping that they can play through this once more and get him on something that, I mean, especially with how strong this item is, maybe they can slot him into a lane bully that can also play with team, because this could be a big rotation for Burning Core 2, as mentioned in pre-game, or the last game's post-game, when they talked about Burning Core for a little bit. This could be a big way for them to start taking on people who are at their level or above. Sorry,
Middlecott then. I was about to say, let's give Middlecott a moment to chat before we jump on into draft then. Talking towards Burning Core, obviously, we've said what they need to do to win. Apart from just figure themselves out, what do you think the best angle is for the Hawks here? Was there a player that you were least disappointed with, might be the best way to say it?
You're skirting around, but there's only one name that should be on anyone's mind who's been watching them. It's Dasher. This guy was incredible in summer, was clear-cut second best mid laner in the entire league. Coming into this year, he hasn't skipped a beat at all. He needs to be able to connect a bit better with the team around him, pair up some more with Blank, who hasn't been looking so strong. But if the Hawks are able to enable Dasher, I think they've got a solid chance this game.
We will have to look and see. We are on into draft, so I will let you guys take it away, and I will see you in the post-game.
Well, Oak, we are now into the draft phase. It's looking pretty cool. And unfortunately, one of those key picks that we did highlight, that Graves, has been taken off the board already. I don't think that's particularly surprising, as the Poppy is taken away too.
Yeah, the Burning the Trindam is taken away from Burning Core as well, which they did end up picking up already the split. So yeah, seeing some interesting bans come through. I'm surprised if we do see the Zinzal band away. This has been a very popular blue side pick. It means that with Zeri gone, I mean, could be looking towards the Jinx, which has been ever popular at the moment as this blue side first pick.
Or could turn towards the Aphelios. Marble has played 3 games of Aphelios. He has also played it as well. It'll instead be the Diana. Flawless has already piloted this once this year to pick up a win on it. And it has been a jungler that has been creeping back into relevancy, I feel.
Yep. Buffs on 11.23 brought her back to her pre-nerf dominance, where she got, not only did they bring back her clear percentage, her passive does 300% damage to creeps, they also buffed the AP ratio on it as well. So I've actually been surprised we haven't seen more play from this, but in other regions they've definitely been giving her a lot of respect. And this can also be paired fantastically with the Yasuo, which you've seen a couple of times now. I really like this response, although I feel like taking the Jinx can be a really easy choice. They opt to go for the Aphelios because we mentioned it. Yuhi's been comfortable on this champion, so maybe they decide to take that away instead.
And it is the 4th game in a row of Aphelios for Marble, who I think it's safe to say we've been slightly disappointed with him coming in. Was very, very hyped up, played very, very well in the academy, but ultimately the level that he's been performing at in the main LJL has left a little bit to be desired. And then on the opposite side, we don't want to hype him too much, but Yuhi has actually looked relatively solid. So I think Marble and Lina are going to need to really step up this game, because this is a bot lane duo that, at least on paper, they should be beating.
And this is a classic combination they've done already twice so far with the Jinx Kench. They've done it also with the Aphelios as well. Fujimoto's only played Kench this season so far, so they're just happy to lock this in this early, especially because you look at the pick options that as soon as this Lee Sin comes in, the Kench is a perfect answer to this champion, just because it removes any of those flash kick opportunities, so long as the Kench is on point with that consume. So yeah, loving this. Really good pick up here. We're going to see the response now. Now you get the opportunity to counterpick your support here, or they can do the blind top lane and just double ban into it. So they choose to get, especially with the Graves already off the board, they can pick the Gwen up here and maybe look to ban some of Burning Core's less stereotypical top laners. Maybe the Jax ban will come in. Maybe we'll even see a Darius ban, because that Darius game looks very scary.
Yeah, and securing a priority matchup for Konatsu is oh so important. He's been a carried player ever since he joined the LJL. Hasn't played the Gwen yet this split, but has had some very strong performances on that champion previously.
Yeah.
And banning away the Jace, one of these picks that can pressure that Gwen in the lane. Oak, I feel like you're on the money with this one.
Yeah, on top of that, we see LeBlanc taken away from Dasher. And I'm honestly surprised we didn't see more bans directed in first rotation. I think when this player gets some champions that he's really comfortable on, as mentioned, last season, he did such a good job of being the only consistently relevant competition to Arya. And he's already played the LeBlanc this bit. We won't be excited to see if we see the Orianna banned away as well, because this could really unite what is currently quite a pick-heavy comp. I think the Orianna would do a really good job of creating some cohesion here. So hopefully Burning Core get on that, ban it away quickly.
Yeah, but that Yasuo that you mentioned that can pair up so well with the Diana is still on the table if Burning Core want to opt towards it. That combo in the mid jungle can be so impactful, especially when we've already talked about how Dasher and Blank have had their issues working together. That feels like somewhere that Burning Core really should be looking to pressure this game.
Absolutely. And I mean, that Diana Yasuo comp can be just so potent when you get that level 6 mark. It pretty much kind of like Corki, I feel like, in a way, because if the pure range it can secure a kill from, I really feel like it can easily set up all these objectives. So I don't know how, maybe, you know, they might decide not to go into the Yasuo anyway, especially when you're looking at the comp you're playing into. But Rakan coming in, this is a scary position for us to be in, because we've seen Rakan come in a little bit earlier in draft and it not be in the support role. So I'm just going to hold my tongue for a little bit whilst we see what Burning Core pick.
It's all right. It's all right. Yellow Yoshi and the madness that are the Axis drafts are not with us this time around. It is going to be the Darius once again for Ray Farkey. We've seen him opt towards the Hullbreaker first on that and has been so effective in those 1v1 matchups. They do opt for the Yasuo here. They are lacking a little bit on AP damage, but Flawless has been so good in the jungle that maybe he's the sort of person that can just carry that magic damage home.
They also can see the comp ahead of them, and they can see that armor stacking is very limited coming from SoftBank HAWKS. So they know that perhaps Tabai is the only real thing they're going to have to deal with. This may mean that Yuhi's going to have to itemize towards that Lord Dominic's third instead of the IE, which might stunt their damage a little bit. But so long as you can maintain safety in the Yasuo lane, okay. Oh, so good. So Ari gets a little bit more play. I feel like this champion's stronger than it's indicated within draft. I also think Yasuo has, this is a relatively decent skill matchup. I don't think we're going to see play from either side, just because, I mean, or at least it used to be. With the Ari changes, I haven't seen enough of this matchup to know whether or not the fact that you don't have to land Charm in a full combo means that Yasuo has a burn wind wall early and you get mind games come in. I'm really excited to see how this matchup goes, because we mentioned already the Burning Core, the games have been against the weaker teams. Obviously, SoftBank HAWKS aren't looking great at the moment, but Dasher is specifically one of these laners where able to push every small inch that they can get. So really excited to watch this.
Yeah, and for the Hawks and for the Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS Gaming, as we give them their full title, it has been a hard schedule. Axis, third team in summer. Rascal Jester, second team in summer. DFM, first team in summer. It's a rough road. It's a rough road, right? But if you're a super team, maybe you should be looking to pick up a couple more wins. Burning Core obviously have got out to a strong start. And the Hawks really need to get their season started here. They've given Dasher agency on this RE pick. That Spirit Rush, you can get the resets through as well. I love it. Don't want to see a Neverfrost, because this guy has been the main damage carrier for his team. Needs to be that Luden's Medjai's build that someone is always going on about.
Yeah, I feel like there might be space for Everfrost just because looking at the amount of damages on this team. I also really like that Kanatu also has a little bit of lane agency. Matchup in the early game can be a little bit rough. Using that Hallowed Mist to dodge the Apprehend from Darius can be really, really important. There is a way you can do it. You have to control your W manually. There's a way you can do it. If he's able to create, just get through first 10 minutes of his laning phase, 15 minutes of his laning phase, he could be in a really good spot come mid game to take advantage of Ray Farkey on this Darius pick. So yeah, I like the draft from SoftHawks. I'm just terrified of Diana Yasuo in combination with Darius and topside. Their topside's going to be so strong after 6. Like
it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
It's really scary.
once in the post-game interview after their loss to Sengoku on Wednesday, was talking about how strong he thought the Burning Core topside was, and questioning why they went for the Smite Janna when he felt like that was really the one part of the map that they can play consistently towards. And it's been a bit of a 180 here, Oak. We've got a lot of champions with agency, a lot of champions that are going to be able to scale a little bit as well into those later stages and be real carries for the Burning Core side.
We've gone back to what they love, and that's Darian. That's killing people. It's murdering up in the high street.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Yeah, anyway, so Diana gets spotted out on the red buff start. So that means as they spot her out on the start, they also know what clear she's going to be opting into, because they're going to see her moving towards her Krugs as well, which means whilst Marble and this bot side are going to play a little bit safe just for that potential level 3 coming in around that 215, 230 mark, if they know that she doesn't appear bot side, very likely opting towards that full clear, and Blank can hopefully play around that effectively and try and get a little bit of space in lanes before Diana pops up. Now, Diana not very high gank ability in the early game, really waiting on that level 6 marks. There's a little bit of space, there's a little bit of trading the bot side. Yeah, there's a little bit of space for Blank to try and create a little bit of pressure in lanes, maybe burn some summoners, even look for a kill if Burning Core's top side are playing too aggressively before Diana really gets on board.
And I'd like to see Blank get a kill, because as it stands in the LJL this spring, I know it's only been 3 games, but he's only had 1 so far.
No. And you know, it's really weird because we expected him to be performing so well. I mean, this player, everybody knows who Blank is, right? And whilst he might have dropped off slightly, I think I personally had really high hopes from coming to this bit. So yeah, disappointing. Maybe this will be the game to turn around.
Yeah, going from being a world champion to losing to Axis is not the best fit. It's not the best sort of trajectory for you. But you know, I think it's fair to be critical of him. He should be playing better. We do expect more. Dice on this Yasuo, very exciting pick. Is a sort of player that likes to go towards these more aggressive champions. He's played the likes of the Silas. He's played the likes of the Tryndamere.
Oh, go on. Please continue your point before I make a stupid point myself. Go on.
I might be forced to stop here by Blank as he lands the resonating strike down onto Flawless, but isn't going to opt to take it. It's good shadowing. We know that the Darius has a lot of pressure in the early game, so preventing it getting on top of that Gwen early on is always going to be good for you. Dasher actually trading aggressively with Dicey here, throws out the Orb of Deception. Ignites dropped by both the mid laners, but neither finds the kill. Flashes are available, but Flawless will just turn up to shove in this wave and let Dice safely reset.
Yeah, I think it looked like Dasher was really close to solo kill there, but I want to emphasize how close Dice was also to a solo kill. Yep. One flash EQ would have been enough to pick up the kill on Ari there, so really scary. With Lee Sin opting into that full clear on top side, we saw him point out try to pick off Flawless doing that gank in the top side, but Flawless has come largely ahead in here, grabbing both scuttles, and on top of that, this leads directly back into the bot side clear. So Flawless getting him a really clean path to get level 6 as early as possible, and Blank looking not lost, but he's just trying to find himself at the moment. He's going through some self-healing.
Yeah, I think a lot of members of the Hawks are sort of doing that right now. Didn't expect to get off to as slow a start as they have done, but there's always an opportunity to start bringing it back. Flawless getting that farm, that lead, wants to get towards that level 6 as quickly as possible, like you mentioned, because that's when the Yasuo Diana combo comes online. That's when it becomes really disgusting, and that's where Dasher is going to have to play oh so carefully. Yes, he's got the Spirit Rush. Yes, he's got the flashes, but that engage is probably quicker than both of those. Yeah,
Dice's earlier aggression onto Dasher, I kind of understand it now. I think trying to fish out that flash as early as possible to Dasher could be really good for ensuring that level 6 comes in really hard and fast for this down the Yasuo. They can immediately look to force Dasher off a potential time to get a kill. This is cheeky from Reina.
This is very cheeky. Obviously, no eat for Fujimoto. He gets that at level 6. Yuhi with a brilliant flash away. You're going to feel bad burning that summoner spell, but burning it keeps you alive. Rayfaki forced to flash out as Blank doesn't quite connect with the Sonic Wave.
So ultimately, just a couple of flashes from Burning Core. Not too big for these lanes as a whole, as Flawless is going to get spotted out on this top side, and we'll see if Blank decides to opt back in for a potential 2v2, if they're just going to chill. He does. He gets a victory that he knows he smells something.
Smells wards, Oak.
Yeah. they're smelly, man. They stink.
They stink.
Especially the pink ones. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no.
Ooh.
A little bit sweet and weird. I do want to say, though, Yuhi, I don't think he flashes that last summer. We don't want to hype him up too much. Has been a player who's struggled in lane, but emphatically hasn't done over the first few weeks. And yeah, you can always bring it back to Burning Core's schedule. The bot lanes that they've had to play against maybe aren't the best. It's really only sort of honey in terms of the top tier ADCs that we can talk about Yuhi facing. But even against lower tier opposition last split, he was struggling. So it's nice to see a little bit of growth for him. It's good to see that Burning Core have kept the faith, stuck with him, and hopefully it continues to pay dividends.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen players adapt, especially when shot calling changes within teams. Suddenly players can decide, I mean, we don't know how much Yuhi was contributing to shot calling, and that can really hurt your micro choices. But maybe, you know, now that there's a little bit of pressure off, now that the team's performing better, we can focus on just being mechanically decent, which can be really big for enabling the team to play as a whole. So yeah, we're happy to see it. I hope Yuhi continues his better play this split, because watching Burning Core's been really fun so far. It's definitely not like last season.
Oh, Dash, Flawless. Not quite in range there. He was definitely looking for that. Ray Farkey roaming towards this mid lane as well. Burning Core have identified that Dasher is the main carry for this Hawks side, and they want to shut him down as much as possible, but that is easier said than done. Yeah,
I think even if they aren't able to pick up these skills, especially with Dasher having the ultimate available, it's quite difficult to, especially if, you know, Dasher's not going to be found in lethal point anytime soon. They have to burn that ultimate in the flash to really find any possibility for a kill, but they can use the pressure of the Moonfall Last Breath combo to set up for these objectives. And so I'm hoping we see this top side either rotate towards Herald sooner rather than later, or potentially make their way down to this Drake, because it is Infernal Drake, a nice easy Drake to start off with, and can be really nice to set up for your early game.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Infernal Drake, is gives you a lot of power, also one of the easier ones to take. For some reason, Cloud just like spits on you for 1 million damage, and Infernal's like, no, chill.
I still think they should change that. Yeah, it is very confusing.
Oh, Blank, I think he was momentarily...
I mean, we know that in England today.
It has been horrible. Red weather warnings all over the place. I do believe that Blank was spotted there. He's 2 levels down on Flawless, so if Burning Core want to opt in for this, it could be risky.
Is he 2 levels down? Is that just through clearing?
This is just through clearing. Flawless hasn't connected on any of these ganks yet. Might do one in the mid lane here, but again, Dasher playing just out of range. Dice going forward though, does land that EQ knockup, but Charmed, so can't get the last breath off. This is why this guy's so good, but Dasher oversteps and Dice punishes him for the kill. Ray Farkey now engaged in a 1v2 in the top side, Sonic Wave resonating strike, and Kinatu picks up a response.
Ultimately kill trades there, but the big thing is Dasher dashed back in, completely no vision to support that at all. The over aggression really quickly punished there. Flawless immediately flash Moonfall to pick up that kill. So whilst it's a 1-for-1 for Burning Core, already seeing this combo come into fruition.
Yeah, trade of ultimates there in the bot lane. That Moonlight visual for the Devour, and we're going to jump into this replay. And yeah, the initial play doesn't work from Flawless, but the punish is so quick.
Yeah, I think that's Dice even doing a really good job to try and pick this off. And we see, actually, interestingly, I don't know why Dasher fell for that. He saw Flawless in the mid lane and went, I'll just go back in for some cheeky poke. And immediately Flawless is like, no, you're not doing that. And then we get to see the kill in the top lane. And Ray Farkey trying to play to his limits just a little bit there. I think he was trying to look for those passive stacks for a potential 1v2. Darius is well known for that, but isn't able to find it. So at least he doesn't burn too much. He has his flash up still for any potential future fighting. He doesn't burn the ultimate as well, whereas both Blank and Kanata use that ultimate.
Well, Hawks losing out pressure in the mid lane, but are still going to be able to convert it into a Herald on this top side. Flawless will just trade it for that Infernal Drake. A very late take on the Infernal Drake as TP bot lane. Kinatu coming down here. We are actually being engaged in a lane swap right now, trying to funnel as much gold onto Marble on this Aphelios.
Yeah, interesting. I'm wondering if Burning Core are going to opt into the lane swap, or if they're going to try and rotate their bot line into topside. They choose to match it instead. I guess maybe they feel there might be a little bit of difficulty and that they want to get their Darius in that even matchup once again. They really want to try and push him through the lane bully that he is. So they're just going to opt into it, which means Marble and Blank going to pick up a couple of plates here. And I don't know if Burning Core are going to have a response, especially with that Herald being picked up now. Suddenly there could be a couple of first tower angles for SoftBank Hawk.
Yeah, potentially. It was 4 members from Burning Core moving up towards that top side, which is going to give Dasher a bit of free time to shove in the mid lane, and maybe he can look for something himself. It's been a bit of a tepid game, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, both of these teams have had their issues with getting stuff done in the early game. Well, I think that's possibly a problem that we can attribute to a lot of teams in the LJL, is that the proactivity in the sort of first 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes hasn't really been there a lot of the time.
And it's especially for Burning Core, it seems like they've opted into that. I think, well, both sides have opted into it. We've seen the Darius specifically come out from Burning Core, which screams to me early game access for this team. But Lee Sin also, Blank on the Lee Sin, 1 assist, 12 minutes in. And as you mentioned, just a level down, just EXP down in this jungle matchup where, you know, Burning Core relatively just opted into just a farming jungler and just done exactly that and come out advantage safe from it. Obviously the meta now diverging a little bit from last season, a lot more long-winded, which is why we're seeing new picks pop up like the Victor, which is now so strong. But yeah, interesting.
We'll have to see how they continue to play it out. Obviously Blank, even though he is at that discrepancy in terms of the farm, has picked up that Gore Drinker. So in terms of power right now, even or maybe even slightly ahead of Flawless if a brawl were to break out. Marble and Liner have swapped back down to this bot side. Herald has also been summoned. Blank potentially thinking about a dive here, but it's a risky proposition versus a Diana and versus a Tom Kench.
Indeed. Alongside that, Diana, whilst not on this mythic yet, does have the stopwatch available, which means that both disengage and initial engage options are so much easier for this Diana. You can just dash in, Moonfall immediately. Zonya's
Dasher
might be caught out. Okay, so flash exchanged for the ultimate from Ahri there. Okay. I mean, this definitely gives it gives Blank a lot more angles to try and aggress in this in the center of the map here. So yeah, just some small back and forths. Honestly, not really exciting me, but hopefully we'll get some more. I think Blank after that 15-minute point, especially once turrets get unlocked, it'll be really big to see how this Lee Sin can start to evolve, because we know this Lee Sin, and especially Blank, played a lot of this champion previously. Is he able to make this champion kind of accelerate their mid game as the quickening comes in, the diving?
Yeah, they're already going for it, but not quite connecting onto Fujimoto. Just going to run it away. No. Okay, Dinah, that was a good try. Good try. Flawless now,
exciting
coming
game.
coming out of Blank's jungle, looking for Dasher in the mid lane here. Spirit Rush not available, but the flash is back off of cooldown. And I'm slightly worried here. That is a Kindle Gem in inventory. That would imply the Everfrost build. So opting for a little bit more of that utility.
Should I be the person that makes the excuses for Everfrost and Ahri? Because I think the item's pretty good on her. I think, okay, so she's a changed champion now. Like, she's no longer the charm bot that she once was, which means that landing that charm isn't nearly as important. But when you look at the pseudo engage coming from SoftBank Hawks here, and I think also all of the damage, I don't think Ludens is really needed this game. You have a lot of mixed damage coming up for this comp, a lot of generalized damage, which means you can play the utility role if you want. You can still go Shadow Flame second. You can still potentially build the Medjay as they start snowballing ahead. You know, there's AP options there alongside the Everfrost, which I work pretty well with the team.
Don't be scared, Oak. Just say it out loud. Like, we're fine with any Ahri build here. You've got to go for it. Do you know what? Putrefy a second.
Guys,
needs to happen. Fujimoto actually kicked out of the Abyssal Dive, and Blank gets his second kill of the split.
And that's on the perfect timer for this dragon. On top of that, this bot lane turret got chunked so low earlier. This means this should set them up first turret in this game. That's a double objective win for SoftBank HAWKS, a huge initial pick. Now, Flawless is going to see how we can respond as Dasher's maybe catching up Dice in the mid lane.
Going forward, holding that charm for so long. The combo from Liner does secure the kill onto the support. Not necessarily the best gold distribution, but a kill is a kill. Kanatu now pulled in, drops the exhaust down onto Rayfaki. It's Flawless taking the aggro, but goes into the stopwatch at the perfect time. Rayfaki tanks one more tower shot, and Flawless will just be able to walk this one away. But Dasher, Liner are coming over, and the Ahri is hungry.
Okay.
Blank now aggressing forward, but Fujimoto here with the eat. Rayfaki going to be able to walk it out. This is much better from the HAWKS.
Finally, we got some League. We got some League of Legends. Fantastic from SoftBank to really continue to press this very minor lead that they get in bot side. So we see this here. Reiner, freed up from having to play bot side, rotates into the mid lane, and usage of the quickening with Dasher. Look at the distance he finds that engage. That means he can't windwall the charm. Really easy pick off there. Live game.
Yeah,
I think a kill was just found. As we're watching the replay here, we get to see the top dive anyway. As we see Rayfaki and Flawless juggle some tower aggro, but there was a kill in the live game. Anyway, we can see this here. Basically, SoftBank HAWKS pick up another kill before Fujimoto uses the ultimate. But yeah,
Yuhi's dead.
See you, Yuhi.
Yeah, goodbye. Hopefully we'll get a proper look at that one.
I've spotted an item on Jinx.
Oh dear, have you? Well, we'll have to look at it in a little bit. As Yuhi, what the hell happens here?
Yeah. Just damage Aphelios with shurikens. Yeah. Okay.
And that's exactly the sort of thing that we wanted to see from Marble. These proactive, these aggressive plays. He's been an AD carry that we've been hyping up and haven't seen perform just yet. More of that, please. And maybe we could start talking about you alongside names like Honey and Soul and Utapon and these sort of great AD carries that the LJL currently has.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so Yuhi has opted into the Kraken Slayer. Now, I have already been quite vocal about how, I think we both have, about how this may perhaps be a bit of an ego pickup. You do have the Kench to help facilitate safety against some of these initial engage combinations, especially from Reiner with the quickening charm combos. They're trying to find a hero once again.
Yeah, just pairing up with Dasher once more. That combo has resulted in 2 or 3 kills at this point, and it's the HAWKS enabling Dasher, which is exactly what we wanted to see.
And Burning Core are looking really lost at the moment. They're not pairing up, as we're mentioning. So Burning Core, or SoftBank even, Reiner immediately freed from this lane, and we talked about it briefly. As soon as these turrets get broken down, how are SoftBank going to start to pair up these combos together? They do it perfectly here, whereas Burning Core, Fujimoto doesn't seem to be in the right place to facilitate his team with any of these aggressive plays, and it's really hurting them, and it's why they're now 2k gold down. But Rayfaki, Darius time, he's trying to find a solo kill.
Yeah, but Dasher is here, Blank's around as well. It's not going to end well for you there, buddy. And it's another kill on that Ahri. Everfrost crucial in picking that one up. Top lane tower gonna be the Nats focused here, and that's all 3 of the outer towers taken by the HAWKS, which is so impressive considering this is one of the teams that has the lowest towers taken per game, 0.7 before this one. Only 2 towers taken in total throughout the split so far, and they've already taken more than that this game.
Yeah, they've been cleaning house for these tier 1s, taking them really on point in terms of their rotations. They get the bot one first, the first gold onto the Aphelios, onto Marble, which then enables that solo kill into mid. They pick up the mid turret, and finally that open space means they extend their vision line, then they get to play through top side as Rayfaki over aggresses. Really clean coming up from SoftBank HAWKS right now. I'm enjoying this a lot. We're going to be looking towards next objective, second Drake for this team, alongside a potential early Baron, because looking at the DPS from HAWKS here, really, really high. And this gives them the opportunity to, if they can set up the vision around this Baron, look for a potential 21, 22-minute Baron very, very easily, so long as Aphelios is on the right construct.
And the thing is as well, they've got so much pick potential with this Ahri, with this Lee Sin, with this Rakan, that you can opt into those plays, and you just need to take out one person, and then all of a sudden the Baron is free. In the top side, Dice will be able to take down that outer tier 1, but it's responded to with the tier 2 in mid. Kinatu looking to split push on this bot side as well. The Drake is spawning in 15 seconds, but I don't think that's going to be the immediate focus for the Hawks here. More concerned with picking up some of this standing gold.
Yeah, they really want to snowball through as much gold as possible. And by the way, we have seen a couple more key itemization pickups from Hawks. Big ones being double pen coming from the carries. Collector picked up by Marble, as well as a Shadow Flame second from Dasher. So they're opting into damage points if possible. They really want to be blowing up the squishies. And we look
Super Mega Death Rocket. Not quite in time there.
Very close though. Would have been on the right timer too. Unlucky for Yuhi. Yeah, looking at how easy it is to get damage on some of the carries, you know, that both Flawless and Dice very, very squishy right now. I'm loving the itemization coming out so far, and hopefully going to be able to continue using it. Yeah. So Everfrost, real quick, they're against 4 melees. That's all I'm going to say. It's got good use here.
Fair enough, fair enough. I can respect it. I can respect it.
That's my final point in it all.
We won't talk about it anymore. We'll just leave it lie. Hawks 3,000k or 3,000k. No, that's a bit too much. 3,000 gold in the lead.
Ooh.
Burning Core not completely out of it. I think the saving grace for them is it is a very, very squishy composition for the Hawks. So if Flawless and Dice are able to get that combo off, Yuhi rockets from the other side as he completes his second item, give them a lot of ways to play out the fights. But with the way that the Hawks have been moving around the map, have been playing around Vision, have been rotating, playing as a team, it's going to be very difficult for Burning Core to actually find those opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah, whilst Burning Core had the technical scaling with this Yasuo Jinx combo, as you mentioned, Dasher and Reiner, I think actually have been big facilitators for continuing to press Hawks' lead as much as possible. And yeah, Reiner is suddenly feeling very in the comfort zone. I think on the Rakan, looking really, really clean. I'm happy this wasn't a top Rakan. I would have been very dismayed if it was, because the usage of the quickening to pick off kills in actually very, very aggressive positioning, it's been really, really strong, purely because Rakan can go for those combos very easily, even in spots with relatively little vision, because you can just dash back out again, especially when you combo that with the Ahri. They have a lot of safety when they're looking for individual picks, and that's why I've been loving this aggression coming out. It's a relatively safe attempt coming from them. And now we mentioned it briefly, but 23-minute Baron potentially being found by Hawks. We're going to see how this fight plays out.
Yeah, Rocket goes in. Flawless is already in the mixer. Knock up onto 2 by Liner. Moonlight Vigil goes wide. Big hit from Flawless. He's exhausted, but Dice is free to hit them, deal the damage. Dasher gets the charm crucially onto you here, and they're going to be able to blow up the Jinx, but not quite yet. She's somehow still alive and able to run it out with the Get Excited passive. Farki has ghosted, flashes forward.
Let's go.
And then Noxian Guillotine cuts Marble in half.
Fantastic initial engage, and they get to hopefully look towards this Baron themselves. On top of that, it looks like, I don't know if Farki should be opting towards help the DPS here, but a big result here for Burning Core. Get to pick off 3 kills, which is another couple of shutdowns as well. As it looks like Farki going to try and continue this by stopping Blank from getting the Baron, and Baron picks up for Burning Core. Fantastic. This should result in a lot of this standing gold being unlocked off the map, and now Burning Core, that gold deficit minimalized.
Yeah, SoftBank Hawks have had some issues with Barons in the past. They've looked good so far, but it really, really did not turn out for them here.
Yeah, shows out right here. Moonfall comes in, triple combo, and this is off the quickening, fairly like that. The usage of the quickening not really hitting the right target. So Flawless, once again, really quick on the response button. Triple Moonfall comes in, and SoftBank Hawks can't find damage to pick off any member of, you know, look at how squishy Burning Core could have been. Just one kill on a squishy could have really turned that around. Weren't able to do it, and now 800 gold for Burning Core, and they're going to continue to get a little bit more gold as hopefully they unlock this top bot lane tier 1, and this also means that now they could even be looking to secure second Drake for themselves. Yeah, Burning Core have done a really good job of handling how aggressive SoftBanks have been, and I think ultimately plays through Fujimoto finally being in the right place.
Everfrost used their by dash onto Flawless as Burning Core with this Baron buff are going to be able to secure the mid priority. The Hawks not giving it up though. They don't want this tower to fall for free. They know that with a composition with so much instant pick potential from this Diana Yasuo, you really do not want to be in a position where you're having to fight for vision in your own jungle. Cloud Drake is going to be up in 30 seconds time. If Hawks get this, it would put them on soul point, which is nice. Not too much damage provided to you by that soul, but the extra maneuverability can be so useful.
It seems like Rakans are just getting god tier souls every single game. It's only Cloud Soul for them, and Cloud Soul is so good with Rakan. I'm sure Hawks are going to be really fishing for this one if possible, because both Ari and Rakan love this soul buff.
Yeah. Really do. Mid lane tower just staying alive for now, but with the position that Hawks find themselves in, trying to contest this Drake would be a little bit optimistic. Blank is just going to recall in the tribe bush there, and I think it's important to see how Burning Core are actually going to be able to push this one forward, because the early game didn't look too strong for them. They've started to scale. They've got 2 items on the Yasuo, 2 items on the Diana as well. They're in a decent point of strength. And I do just want to say a little something, Oak. Dasher went very far forward in that team fight. He went very aggressive.
True.
Lands the charm onto Yuhi, but then didn't quite have enough damage to finish him off. And I feel like if there was maybe a Ludens in that build, then...
Yes. You know what? Very true. Perhaps Ludens would have been the difference there. Maybe dashing into 4 people does work if you itemize correctly. I think a big thing for this Ari is actually going to be this Void Star, because a couple of Merc Treads coming out from Burning Core. No, just one actually. Sorry, I had to lie. There's no couple. There's just one Merc Tread coming out.
Well, there's 2. That's how shoes work.
The percentage pen patterns really well with the flat pen you're getting from Shadow Flame. And I mean, I could talk about the math needed. It's just a very good combination. You want it if you can get it. And I think Dasher, you identified as kind of needing to be a damage source for this team, and this Void Star definitely going to contribute to that.
Yeah, look at that gold graph as well, though, Oak. That's the power of getting a Baron flipped on you. That's a 5k gold swing into Burning Core's favor. Yeah.
They have a softball team, right?
Softball, baseball, I think.
They have a baseball team, right? So yeah, I guess you could say that gold lead was a bit of a swing and a miss.
Just like that pun was.
Was that funny?
No, do you know what? No, do you know what? Do you know what? No, I like that. I like that. I'm down with that.
Brilliant. Very good. You know, on that, I think maybe we can return back to the game. Maybe I'll just leave the puns to you, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Gonna be a resuming of this kind of, now that the Baron's gone, suddenly Burning Core are gonna have to start playing retro. No, not retroactively. Looking for these potential counter engages, seeing how hard Reiner and Dasher try and push their initial engage combination, and maybe look to play off exactly how they did in the Baron fight, where Reiner doesn't find the right target or Dasher steps too far, and Flawless can find this Yasuo Diana combo to pick off another couple of instant kills to set up this team. Because if not, you know, once we're getting into late game, whilst this Jinx Yasuo is only going to get stronger, Darius is going to really start to struggle in side lane, and this can really split apart your whole team. If Ray Faki is stuck playing weak side in top lane at, you know, in the mid to late game, then they lose a core HP unit that they can push into team fights, and it means that Kinetsu gets the, yeah, there we go, we got it eventually, gets the initial TP coming in for a potential flank. They can start the fights first, and that gives a lot of more bearing towards these engage combinations that have already been so potent for SoftBank Hawks.
And you can see Liner just cheating inside Burning Core's topside jungle. Will be spotted out by that control ward. Flawless dodging away from that charm from Dasher, and now Burning Core can just sort of muscle themselves into the river. They know that they are stronger on current itemization. Death Dance now picked up for Dice, and the anti-heal options that the Hawks have got aren't particularly strong. That Oblivion Orb in Liner's inventory, not too impactful. I'd love to see something like a Chemtech Putrefier onto Dasher here, just so you can get as much healing going through the entire team. Yeah, we're doing all the Ari build memes today here, Oak.
Brilliant. You said that so seriously, though. I'm worried somebody would take that seriously.
That is
There'll be
a
somebody
joke.
there who's like, oh my god, Putrefy is good on Ari. I didn't even realize. I'll build it in my next game.
For legal reasons, that is a joke. Liner not joking around here, though. Oh, that's a big
This is a
5
good
stack
flank
that
coming
you'd
in.
love
And the
to
big
get an
thing
entrance
is,
onto.
Burning Core had no vision around this Drake. It's the next objective that's going to be spotted up. Obviously, teams have tried to opt towards these potential Baron Drake, what's the word, counter steal opportunities. But if Ryan is able to find a successful flank, this can, I mean, we've seen outposting this combination campaign before. I think it's surprising that Burning Core, whilst holding that 2k gold lead, seems to be playing a little bit on the back foot in terms of vision. We're seeing largely red side vision take a hold of this game. Oh.
Flawless there, proto building forward. Doesn't find anyone with it. And Hawks actually had some decent vision around that Baron. They've still got a control ward in the pit. Obviously, when everyone is standing in mid lane, you don't get too much value from that one. But once Burning Core start to rotate off to the sides after clearing this wave, gives the Hawks a little bit more information about where they are going. It looks like they are going to opt towards this Baron. That would free up the Cloud Drake if Hawks want to move over in that direction, if they don't think they can contest this Baron. And it doesn't seem like they want to take the fight, just willing to trade it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they walk forward here. Maybe because remember, they are playing on red side, so Baron steals are still a nice opportunity for Flank to look towards. Interesting, Yuhi's build has opted towards the rapid fire third. Now, this is a build that's sparked up where you get relatively high DPS on both squishy and tanky targets. So happy to see it here. Find a little bit mix of the two in between that Lord Doms as well as the IE there. And you see get to opt towards either afterwards. We are seeing a TP finally come in, so SoftBank Hawks may be finally looking for this fight.
Yeah, and I like just a quick note here. This is a pretty important fight now. If either team is able to secure the Baron, gives them such a strong pushing advantage. Hawks now trying to defend around this area of the map with their lives, but Burning Core just opting into it. They recognize that there is no defense in the mid lane for the Hawks. Yeah, they're going to be able to pick up the Baron, but how much of their base are they going to lose in trade?
Seems like Burning Core, they decided to opt into maybe potentially looking to fight at this Baron instead. Dash is on the flank.
He's looking for something here. Yuhi is a little bit isolated. Fujimoto is quite close around, though. Dice could be caught out. The Baron is not going down particularly quickly. Only about 4,500 health left on that liner. Looking for the engage. Finds it onto Rayfaki, but that's only onto one. The eat up from Fujimoto keeps him alive. And Flawless once again dives into the back line and secures a couple of kills for his team. Soloing out Yuhi on the other side is Dasher, but I don't think it's going to matter to the rest of your team because the team fight is lost. Kinatsu, though, trying to save it, fighting out in the Baron pit. Baron not going to do enough to help him out there. Rayfaki pulls back Dasher, apprehends him, takes him down, and once again, the Hawks position around the Baron, but Burning Core come out on top.
So patient from this team to just dismantle SoftBank Hawks' initial engage, and through that 5-for-1, looks like they're going to unlock this inhibitor. And with death timers, we are seeing some low death timers, maybe not a game finisher here, but this definitely sets up Burning Core for the next two objectives. So now that this inhib is going to be unlocked, they can look towards this third dragon for this team. On top of that, this inhibitor can provide a friendly face to pressure out these side lanes, as well as look towards this Baron, as we're going to get a replay on this. And we see that different teams making different decisions. SoftBank Hawks here look to try and chunk out Rayfaki and pick him off as the first member of this fight. When Rayfaki's gone, they lose a lot of this initial front line, but picking up this player can be so difficult. And in turn, Burning Core play patiently, and Flawless once again immediately identifies his role. We see here, Flash, Moonfall comes in with the last breath to pick off multiple members, and it just breaks apart SoftBank Hawks. Dasher desperately trying to play for the kill on Yuhi, but Yuhi lasts long enough that even if he does pick up the kill, the fight is already run for Burning Core. Fantastic from this team.
Yeah, Kinatsu was trying to do his best in the pit, but he wasn't able to make it happen. And honestly, Dash's positioning and the way that the Hawks ended up playing out that fight felt very emblematic. It felt very representative of their season so far, right? Dasher trying to do as much as he can on the backside, picks up a kill, but then he looks around and sees that there is no team around him. Kinatsu attempting to do as much damage as he could as well, but ultimately not enough in the end. And Burning Core find themselves at Soul Point with this Baron still on for another minute. Mid lane inhibitor Those super minions are going to be pushing through as well, and this is more free gold on top of this Yasuo, on top of this Diana. Flawless, every time he rocket belts forward, it is blowing cooldowns on the Hawks. Dasher looking for flanks here onto Fujimoto. We'll take the Tahm Kench too. 2/3 HP, but he's just going to be able to heal that through with the eat coming through there. Saves his AD carry, and Blank doesn't find the engage. The Moonlight Vigil is good, but another 3-man Moonfall, and despite Dasher doing everything that he can, despite Kinatu diving in, it's not going to be enough. Once again, the Ahri is going to be the last member of the Hawks to fall. I don't think they even care about chasing this kill. The base is wide open, and Burning Core, after losing on Wednesday in a little bit of an atypical fashion, coming back strong once again and will put Hawks in the dirt, clipping their wings and putting themselves to 3-1.
And how good does Flawless look after this game set? This is one of the things we were like, okay, well, how is he going to compare right now to, I mean, Blank, so well known. He takes absolute control of the game. He is the reason for multiple initial gold leads, and then those double team fights around those Baron, all through him through those big Moonfall combinations. Fantastically played from this player to really set up and enable his team, where we saw the opposite from SoftBank Hawks, where really these initial engage threats from SoftBank failed.
And it hurt. It honestly hurt me, because we saw how strong they have been playing in that early game, but all it took was one fight from Burning Core and they ripped control of the game away from them. We're going to have a little bit more time to talk about that game, to break it down in a few minutes, but we're popping to a short break now. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back onto the analyst desk after Game 3, Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming versus Burning Core. And there were signs of life from the Hawks. Another pretty good early game, but just not quite enough to carry it through.
And they did everything that we wanted them to do, right? Dasher was enabled in the mid lane, was able to soak up a lot of pressure from Flawless and Dice earlier. Let's not talk about the Spirit Rush in. But then Lina also coming up from the bot side. There were sort of like a few occasions where you have those grand entrances with the quickness combos, securing kills for the mid laner, and those were all mechanically played very nicely as well to take into account stuff like the win wall as well. But then it all sorts of fell apart for the Hawks, and it was just off the back of one huge fight from Flawless and Dice.
Certainly was, and I believe we should have replays ready to go in the not too distant future. So we'll dance across to that. Oak, do you want to break this one down for us?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some incredible patience come out from Burning Core combined with SoftBank Hawks not finding the engage they want. And that was kind of the name of the game for this team. They really weren't able to find the impressive engages, unlike this one here. And this isn't just a one-off bit. Flawless did this again on the second Baron as well. A 3-man, and remember, they're gold deficit at this point. This engage is pivotal. This success of the engage is pivotal for them to turn around this gold lead here, as well as stop SoftBank Hawks on the Baron and stop this third Drake from landing over, potentially leading into the Soul. This was like a key fight for this team to turn around and find access back into the game.
This was the rule of threes really does exist. 3 key team fights, and in every single one, Flawless finds a 3-man Moonfall. Speaking of that second Baron fight, we've got a clip of that one as well, and we can we can sit and we can revel. I liked what I saw from SoftBank Hawks Gaming. Like they tried to go for the inside tack, but it just did not work.
Yeah, it's just that their engage paths just aren't working out as cleanly as Burning Core. I don't know if it's because of the differing team comps and maybe these players are struggling to find their own identities yet, but you saw in the early game what a good facilitator this Rakan was for finding for individual kills. But when those team-wide AoEs were needed, when multi-man grand entrances were needed, they weren't able to be found, and that was a big indicator for how this team was flubbing. And then I think finally that Lee Sin kick was really the herald of this team's draft, and how I think individual draft choices like this Hench, which Burning Core is so comfortable on, actually did a really good job of dismantling the confidence of some of these players.
Yeah, it was pretty dominant from Burning Core once they actually got going. And Flawless wasn't playing Janna this time around, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, as soon as that script got flipped, it was all Burning Core. And I'm interested to see, I don't know if any team is really going to want to ban away the Tahm Kench, because Fujimoto has had some mixed performances on it, but the degree of comfort he shows on that champion, especially with just like, oh, Blank's going to try and go towards you. No. Just no. He completely blanked that engage.
We've seen it in other regions where some really weird picks have popped out that have been played a lot, and fans generally at some point will get directed towards the game. I'm sure of it, because just getting Fujimoto off this comfort will be key to seeing how this team continue to play, because he's very clear on his role when he's playing this champion. Can he translate that into a Thresh or something else that performs a similar role, or can he even play champions that have a completely different role? Can he play enchanters? You know, like this is still a question mark for Burning Core. We've seen them take apart SoftBanks, and we kind of know where SoftBanks are, but we still don't know. I don't want to say it still, but unfortunately, Burning Core, I've really only played against a set level of teams. I'm not going to say bad. I'm just going to say a certain level of team. Okay, and SoftBank Hawks are part of that crowd. Next week's going to be different. Next Wednesday is going to be different. And I'm really excited to see how potentially this comp could be dismantled.
We will have to wait and see on that one, however. Any final thoughts before we throw it to another break, gents? Obviously, one more game still to go. Crest Gaming Act versus Detonation Focus Me coming right up.
Can we get a winning Ari game?
I do just want to say very, very
go
quickly.
Watch the LCK for that.
RMC said that we could have potentially three teams tied for second because of and Burning Core winning that game put themselves to 3-1. I do just want to point out DFM are currently 3-0. When they lose this next game, they are going to be 3-1 as well. So at the top of the table, we're going to have a real mismatch, a lot of teams fighting it out.
Yeah, brilliant.
We'll break down that little tidbit when we're back after the break. Do not go anywhere. One more game still to play. Day 4 of the